Hi everyone, I'm Jenna, and for my diverse lesson plan, I chose to teach a lesson to a kindergarten class on community helpers. This classroom is very diverse. There are different cultures, genders, races displayed amongst this group of students. There are 6 students, and also all 6 students are students with disabilities and have IEPs. So I chose this lesson because I figured I can incorporate community helpers and diversity together. So the meaning being that community helpers and people in our community, different jobs, occupations, can be held by people of all different races, all different genders, all different ethnicities, or people with or without disabilities. So for this lesson, I decided to start with a Brain Pop Junior video segment on community helpers. Now, I know that my students really enjoy Brain Pop videos. They are a great way to start or end a lesson because they pretty much gives a little insight into what we're going to be learning. So then after the short video, I would ask the students if they know any important people in our community that help us, and maybe what their moms and dads or guardians, family members do for a living, and I can really see if anyone even knows what a community helper is or what they got from the video. Then we would do, using the smartboard, a smartboard lesson on community helpers. So I'd have a community helpers PowerPoint, and each slide would just go through. I realize that the cameras would be different, so you can't see it. Each slide would go through what a community helper is. I would tell the students that community helpers are people who work together to keep our community healthy and our overall well-being. And then we would go into different types of community helpers, a doctor, and I would explain to ask students if they know why when we went to the doctor, when we're sick, and that doctors can take care of us and give us medicine, and they're important in our community. Then I had a toy doctor's bag in my room, and I would ask one of my students to come up and put the stethoscope on and, just pretend to be a doctor. Then we would talk about police officers, and I would show students maybe a police car, or they could listen to a clip of a police car, and I would say that police officers investigate crime, and they're there to keep our community safe, and if we're ever in trouble or there's something is jeopardizing our safety, police officers are there in order to help us. I have a police hat that I'd ask a student to put on so they could pretend that they're a police officer. Then we would talk about firefighters. I know that we talked about fire safety in my class previous in the year, and so the students know already what a firefighter is, but we would talk about how firefighters keep our community safe and work together. The firefighters put out fires, and so they keep us safe again. Then we would learn about a mail carrier, and that mail carriers deliver mail and packages to our homes and other places in the community, and I would, ask everyone if they ever noticed their mailman coming to their house or apartment, because we get mail delivered 6 days a week. And so I think that's something that they can also relate to. We would talk about farmers. Farmers take care of crops and animals on their farm. Now, this is something living in a suburban area that most students probably can't relate to, but this is a good learning experience in other communities throughout our state, our country, even Long Island. There are farmers and there are crops and there's animals, and we need these crops and animals to survive. Next, we would talk about teachers, and I think it's something they could obviously relate to because they were being taught by a teacher, and that teachers help students learn. So that would be the way to end it. And then I would make sure throughout this entire PowerPoint that all of the pictures incorporate students of different community helpers of different races, different ethnicities, different genders, just to show again how diverse our communities can be, and that community helpers are diverse, and people from all different cultures work together, and all different and diversity, people with disabilities, people without disabilities, different genders. And then I would end the PowerPoint with the question, how do you want to help your community when you grow up? So then each student would receive a writing prompt depending on their level. So I have 3 students who will receive this paper, and it says, when I grow up, and they will draw a picture. Now these 3 students are also 2 of them are one-to-ones, so they will have their one-on-one assistant with them, and the other student will also have a teacher's assistant to help them. For this, I will, as the teacher, as well as the teacher's assistant, will ask the students, what would you like to be when you grow up, and try to help them, and maybe have to, the students would probably require support in order to form their ideas. And then I would hope they would draw a firefighter or a police officer or, anything, a doctor, a veterinarian, even if they have something different that we didn't talk about, that would be great too. Then my 3 other students will receive this writing prompt, and it says, when I grow up, and they can draw the picture, and I want to be because. So now for this, 2 of my students will be able to read this and write. They will just need help spelling, and they will be able to decide on their own what they would like to be when they grow up and draw their own interpretation. Another student will need a tracing prompt. So I, myself, or a teacher's assistant would ask the student to form their own ideas and what they would like to be, and then I would write it on the line in yellow highlighter so that she can trace over it. And for the because for all 3 students, that would be something that they are working on, really forming their own ideas. So that would definitely be an answer that would need to be supported by a teacher, just to have the student form what they would like to do. Then after that, I would ask all students to share, and we would go around and ask each other. Maybe I like in my classroom when there's a lot of peer learning, so I like to facilitate the peers asking each other. So I would have my students ask the other students, what would you like to be when you grow up? And hopefully they would share, and we would have a nice class discussion about what type of community helper and how they want to help their community when they grow up. So this lesson incorporates different learning styles. These students in my class really benefit from visual learning styles as well as kinesthetic learning styles. So that's why I will use the PowerPoint, Smartboard activities for students to see pictures of the different community helpers. And that's why I will use the props for students to be able to just be engaged in the learning and get up. I have students that have attending issues, so them being called up to the front to be a doctor or to dress like a police officer will just be really engaging for them. So for my assessment, I will assess students through teacher observation throughout the lesson. If they're attending, students will be assessed based individually on their own learning goals and levels of learning. So students attending to the lesson, students participating in the lesson, answering questions, that will be assessment, and then as well as student answers to the writing prompts and drawing prompts, just if students are, able to really to remember even just one of the community helpers that we spoke about during our lesson. So that is my diverse learning plan.